Your Majesty? May I have permission to enter your chambers? I bring news from your father, the king. Come now. Your father means you no ill will. In fact, he has important work that he trusts you to fulfill. Will you please hear me out? Thank you. I'm coming in now. Your time is greatly appreciated, Your Majesty. Are you well today? That's good to hear. Are you reading one of your books again today? Whisps, The Quiet Wonders of the World. A fascinating read. Or so I'm told. I'm not really one for reading myself. But it has a lot of well-researched insights into the links between Whisps and ether, am I right? I see. Well, as a matter of fact, it is actually quite the fitting read for what I have come here to tell you. As I've said, I have news from your father. You are aware of the recent troubles with crop harvests across the kingdom of Albian, are you not? Yes. Well, our best farmers and scholars have worked together to study the harvests to find the cause of the rapidly spoiling crops. The scholars have also been investigating the withering of flower fields across the regions, and have at last come to a conclusion. As it turns out, the ether saturation of the land, particularly flower beds and farmlands, are diminished, and the crops are lacking the life energy from the land they need to grow properly. Concerning, I know, and very unusual, or so I'm told. In the coming months, we are likely to face a famine due to the decay of our food resources. Why the plant life in the kingdom is so deficient in ether is currently unclear. However, there is a solution to counteract this predicament in the meantime. In order for the lands to be restored and vibrant once again, an outside source of ether will need to be gathered and spread throughout the kingdom. Thankfully, there is one such source. There is a great surplus of ether upon the great Mount Alaventura to the north of the kingdom to suit our needs. Perhaps you've read about it in that book of yours. So you have, eh? Your knowledge of such topics is impressive, Your Majesty. However, not only is the mountain range on the other side of the kingdom, but we'll also need to find a way to gather such a large amount of ether to provide to all the farmers and such who need it. And such as this can only hold enough ether for half a field, if that. Oh? I see I've piqued your interest. It was given to me as an example of the kind of container we need. See the fine details on the carving here? They supposedly act as a seal to keep the wisp's energy inside. And, if you open it, and listen very closely, you can hear quiet voices from within. Care to listen? Here. These are the voices of the wisps themselves, whose existence leaves traces of life energy we call ether. They say the whispers are those of the departed, and their strongest thoughts or desires as they passed on. That's just a legend, though. So, there you have it. Your objective is to find a way to contain and transport a large amount of ether from the northern mountains, and then journey across the kingdom to collect it. And, to see you through to that end, the king has personally asked me to assist you on your quest. Sounds like a safe enough mission on the surface, maybe, but believe me, I wouldn't be interested in aiding you if that were the case. Such a journey would be arduous and full of perils, I'm sure, which is why I have been asked to accompany and safeguard you. We're sure to encounter our fair share of scraps against man and beast alike, and I, for one, am raring to see what challenges await my blade beyond the walls of the city. Oh, don't worry. It shouldn't be anything to be too anxious about. I know this must put a lot of pressure on you, what with the fate of the kingdom being thrust onto your shoulders. But you've had access to all the knowledge and finest tutelage Albian has to offer. I'm sure you'll be capable of handling yourself. I hope. And if the road should get too rough, I'll always be there to defend you. On my life, I shall protect you until our expedition results in the salvation of our kingdom. No. I'm sure your father isn't trying to get rid of you. I won't pry into your relationship. It's far from my place to. But I expect you don't get a fair share of his attention, what with his devotion to running the kingdom into the firstborn prince. That being said, I don't believe sending you on this quest is an excuse to push you away. Perhaps he's finally found a role to suit your skill set, one that both you and he can be proud of. You're still hesitant? I suppose it is a lot to take in, especially for you. I understand you like to keep to yourself here on the castle grounds, and I don't have any objections to that. As a member of the royal family without the pressures of succeeding the throne, you are free to do as you wish, besides tarnish your family's name. But I think you could do with stepping out of your comfort zone a little. Taking a trip and venturing into the outside world will be sure to broaden your horizons. Reading about the world out there is all well and good, but experiencing its thrills and wonders for yourself is another matter entirely. And I can help show you that world. What do you say? Will you take that first step to brave the outside world for the sake of Albion? Come on now, Your Majesty. I've kept quiet out of respect for you, but I can't watch you continue to withdraw yourself. If I'm honest, it is most unbecoming of a member of the royal family. You should serve as a pillar of virtue to the kingdom, not waste away in here among pages and parchment. You're better than this. Maybe you don't believe that, but you're worth more than you think. And I can show you the way to find yourself. If not for the kingdom, then for yourself and your future. Please, will you undertake this expedition with me? Glad to see you change your mind. Self-improvement always starts with one courageous step. Forgive my harsh words, Hylia. I only want you to live up to the potential your father believes you possess. You're sure to grow well from this experience. I'm certain of it. Now, first I must test your skills. Being trusted to venture outside of the city like this, you must be a respectable warrior, even with your disposition. Nonsense. What did I say about having faith in yourself? You may be reclusive, but you should know how to handle a weapon at least. And even if you aren't up to my level of skill in combat, I'll be sure to bring you up to speed. Come, let us go to the training field at once. That's 20 times you've died now, and your foes won't be so kind as to hit you with the flat of their blade. Anticipate my next move and be ready to counter, all right? Once more. No! I've told you, raise your guard. You'll never hit the broadside of a barn with a stance like that. Again. Well, I'm convinced. You have no talent for the sword at all. I thought being a member of the royal family you'd have been trained better than this, but it seems not. Never mind patching up your weaknesses. At this rate, you'll continue to be a sinking ship, doomed to the depths of the cruel ocean waves. Please excuse my impertinence. I know you're trying your best. It's just, I can't understand. If the king has given you this task, you must have some potential within you to complete it. I'm just trying to figure out what. Surely you must have trained in some way to defend yourself. Are you a sharpshooter with a bow? A deft hand with a dagger? Anything? I see where this lack of faith in you from the castle staff comes from now. You're not exactly the image of a strong leader. You can barely even fend for yourself in battle. You don't have the wit nor nerve to command. How can you hope to live up to your family name? I'm this close to being promoted to the rank of Vice Commander of the Royal Guard after years of hard work. And to prove myself to that end, I have to drag you around like dead weight. What a final trial indeed. I'm not sure why your father believes you're ready for this journey, if I'm being honest. I apologize. That was out of line. Please forgive. Whoa! Watch it! You almost had my head off! I suppose I deserved that. Seems you can swing a sword after all, if you're in the right mood. Remind me not to displease you again. That's one perfectly good flower bed ruined. The botanist will have my head for this. No, don't apologize. It was my fault for aggravating you. You shouldn't blame yourself. Wait, that haze. No! The urn broke from the fall. What a waste. Don't bother to try and grasp it. Mortals cannot hope to control wisps, not without the appropriate tools. Wait. Do my eyes deceive me? Are you controlling that wisp? The flowers are back to normal. By the gods. I've never seen anything quite like that before. Did you know you could do that? You've been able to harness ether all your life? I see. That's an unbelievable gift you have there. Suddenly, you being secluded most of your life makes a lot of sense. Keeping this ability of yours a secret to protect yourself from those who would want to exploit it was a very wise decision. I think I'm beginning to understand why your father wishes to send you on this quest. I gather you don't believe your father thinks a lot of you. He dotes on his heir far more than you, and leaves you to fend for yourself. But I don't think he's really that callous. He's your father, and knows you just as well as you know yourself. He will have known about this power from the beginning. He knew you, with your insight into the ethereal and affinity for harnessing the transient power of the Whisps, would be the perfect person for the job. Maybe he hopes you'll even be able to grow and believe more in yourself through this experience as well. Don't you see? Your father isn't sending you off to try and make use out of you, or push you out of the family, or anything like that. He sees this hidden potential in you, and wants you to let it shine and be helpful in ways only you can be. He genuinely trusts you to see this through. He cares for you, and I think you care for him too. More than you care to admit anyway. Oh, you can deny it all you like, but don't think I didn't notice exactly when you decided to take a swing at me. Anyways, your father trusts you to handle this, and I too think you have what it takes, and that you should have more faith in yourself. Many believe you can't hold a candle to your stalwart and charismatic older brother. There are reasons why he is trusted to take over the kingdom one day. Perhaps compared to him you can seem inadequate and unneeded. But you're strong in your own way. You may not be a master swordsman or a brilliant tactician, but now I see what you lack in fortitude, you make up for with compassion, perception, and a keen interest in the world around you. And you have hidden potential for harnessing ether, the likes of which this kingdom has never seen before. You may do great things yet, things no one else could hope to achieve. I must apologize for how I've treated you today. I've been impatient, inconsiderate, and incredibly disrespectful towards you. Your worth lies in more than combat skill, unlike me. It lies more in your heart and will. I see now it was foolish for me to expect you to fit into my idea of strength, and belittle you for not doing so. I will accept any punishment your majesty desires. Huh. Well, what do you know? It appears you have some moxie after all. Very well. I shall tolerate travelling with you and act as your trusty blade on this quest. We'll make a great team, I'm sure. Though, along the way, I would like to teach you some skills with a blade so you can fend for yourself a little if need be. Perhaps a dagger would suit you better than a sword. And maybe, if all else fails, provoking you could prove to be a secret weapon in a pinch. Or perhaps not. If I may be so bold, I have a request for you. Seeing as we shall be adventuring together for the foreseeable future, I thought it might be best to dispense with the formalities and address each other with our first names. Would this be acceptable, or would it be too improper? I'm glad. Good to see you let down those walls, then. Well, I, Knight Edward of Riverton, shall pledge myself to your service from here on out. It's a pleasure to be working with you, Your Majesty. Or rather, Robin.